the streets. That's why Obama is attacking Venezuela, and that's why we're marching here today, not just for Venezuela, we're marching for Mumia Fujimori.
President Obama declared that this country of 30 million people, the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, is a threat to the security of the United States. That's an unprecedented declaration. In what way could Venezuela possibly be threatening the security of the people of the United States?
To let President Obama know that we are against the March 9th decree, the executive order that he signed declaring Venezuela a threat to the national security of the United States. Venezuela is no threat to the United States. What's a threat is police brutality, unemployment, low wages. That's the real problem.
We are in solidarity.
We are in solidarity
with the Venezuelan revolution.
With the Venezuelan revolution.
Mr. Obama.
Mr. Obama.
You can't make peace with Cuba.
We can't make peace with Cuba.
And want counter-revolution in Venezuela.
And you can't make a revolution in Venezuela.
This is a contradiction.
This is a contradiction.
And we're not going to let you get away with it.
And we're not going to let you get away with it.
We stand here in solidarity.
We stand here in solidarity
with the people of Venezuela.
With the people of Venezuela.
With President Maduro.
With President Maduro.
Viva Maduro.
Viva Maduro.
President Maduro is a president whose strength comes from something called people's power. People's power is what is the strength behind the president of Venezuela. He is a president whose strength comes from the people, not from the wealthy, and not from the halls of power.
The Bolivarian Revolution is an incredible promise of change, an encouraging example of resistance not only for Latin America, but for the entire world. This unprecedented movement shows how people can reclaim their power in a democratic and peaceful way, how the cooperation of separate nations can create a force capable of standing up to US imperialism. Just what kind of future is world heading if the people do not resist the ruthless ambitions of the ruling class of this country? Let the Bolivarian Revolution to be the first step in hindering the US world hegemony. Persistence in solidarity will overcome. Solidarity to Bolivarian Revolution!
Yeah. También el imperialismo ataca cuando ellos están teniendo problemas internos y externos aquí en las mismas extrañas del monstruo.
But also imperialism attacks externally when they're having problems internally, right here in the belly of the beast.
En este país, más de la mitad de los estadounidenses viven en la pobreza y en la extrema pobreza.
Here in the U.S., 50% of the population lives below or on the poverty level or below.
Cada vez son más la gente que vive en la calle como desamparados y que no tienen qué comer ni con qué vestirse.
And more people are becoming homeless and have no food or clothing.
Mr. Obama debiera preocuparse más de esta situación que están metiendo sus tentáculos en nuestro territorio.
Obama should be worrying about that instead of putting his tentacles in our country.
Por eso que atacan a la revolución latinoamericana, a la revolución que nos heredó el presidente Chávez. Por eso que hay que resistir, por eso que hay que solidarizar, por eso que hay que luchar por esa revolución.
That's why he attacks the Venezuelan revolution, our Latin American revolution, and that's exactly why we have to resist.
En este momento nosotros estamos en solidaridad con el pueblo de Venezuela porque el decreto que ha declarado el presidente Obama es una amenaza no solamente para Venezuela, es una amenaza para toda Latinoamérica y el mundo entero.
and also in education. The threats against Venezuela, the decree against Venezuela is a threat not only to Venezuela, but all of Latin America and all of the people fighting for liberation in Latin America.
I hope coming election in United Kingdom, people will get united, workers will get united, and they will raise their voice just like Mr. Hugo Chavez raised and become a symbol of Latin America. Mr. Chavez, Venezuela, we are proud of you. We are proud of every voice which is a resistance against the imperialists.
And why there are people out around the world in defense of Venezuela and in cities across the United States today in defense of Venezuela. Because Venezuela is a hope for people everywhere in the world, because it's a people's government that has made real changes in the lives of millions of people. And it's been an example throughout Latin America, an inspiration for millions of people through concrete acts like heating oil to the South Bronx, like heating oil to native reservations right here in the U.S., like land distribution in Venezuela, and rent control, and food subsidies, and free health care in Venezuela.
The United States is the biggest human rights violators in the world. And this is what we have to continue to understand and expose and be in the streets in order for us to protest and to fight for our human rights. When you think about the gentrification that is displacing millions of people in this city, in Brooklyn, and South Bronx, in Harlem, that is a human rights violation. When we think about the hospitals that are being closed, have been closed, the schools that are being closed, the public sector unions that are under attack, the low-wage workers who are fighting for a union wage and for benefits. This is a human rights violation, sisters and brothers, and we have to turn this situation around. The biggest human rights violation that is going on right now in this city and around the country is police terror. It's police terror. And it doesn't matter if you are a basketball player like Thabo Sefolosha, who was brutalized just a few nights ago, had his leg broken, or whether it's 12-year-old Tamir Rice gunned down in Cleveland, or whether it's Akai Gurley, or Ramali Graham, or Sean Bell, or Eric Garner, or Michael Ferguson, all gunned down by police terror, and no one brought to justice, or Walter Scott, who was shot 8 times in the back. Just so, luckily, it was caught on video camera. And so the people of the world are beginning to see more and more that as the economic crisis deepens in this country, as young people are being victimized by racist war of terror, by racist police and vigilantism, like Trayvon Martin just a few years ago, sisters and brothers, this is all tied together. The economic crisis and growing police terror, because what these police are doing is they're treating our youth as expendable. Our youth are treated like less than 3/5 of a human being because there are no jobs, there's no education. And this is why we have to continue to be in the streets, to show our opposition, to be outraged, to shut it down. We need to shut it down. We need to shut down police terror. We need to shut down all of human rights violations. We have to shut down this country, and that's the best way we can be in solidarity with the people of Venezuela and Cuba and Africa, Asia and Palestine, because these are not our enemies, sisters and brothers.
These are our friends and allies who are fighting for the same things that we're fighting for.